So I'm Huma and I come from Pakistan. I was born in Karachi and I've lived all my life there only. And my background is in the field of art and culture. I make cultural projects. I studied in an art school, which is one of the privileges that I went to a private school and I got a formal education. I personally don't feel oppressed, but coming from a very super oppressive society, and it's more suppression that I could say we have to put up with. And again, it's a privilege that I can try at least to fight the oppression in my own capacity. And so yeah, I guess it makes me also a fighter in a way. So right now I speak, of course, from a completely personal perspective, which is also collective because I don't feel alone. I know there's a lot to be done, and especially in my society because, like I said, it's a struggle living in Pakistan as an independent woman, which I think I am. Again, a privilege, and how I engage with my territory is always to stand up for myself, and that's how I want to also make sure that I'm not alone, and I always try to empower women and the less privileged, and it's because I do come from a privileged background living in Karachi. I don't want to be the only privileged person because that's also a big responsibility, and it almost feels like a burden also when you're living amongst people who are not privileged at all. And so being privileged is also, it comes with its baggage. And so I feel like in my city, in my country, whenever I go out, I'm always trying to tell people and try to educate them because they're not educated, and I feel like it's not even about education, it's about exposure and it's about awareness. And so I feel the responsibility because I get a lot of exposure. I meet a lot of people because of my work, my job, and because of my personal experiences. I'm always sharing and I learn a lot from other people, and I feel it a duty to share those experiences with people back at home. And it's also a constant struggle because it is an oppressive society. Women are suppressed, and I mean now women are talking about it and they're coming out and reclaiming spaces and all of that. And so it's always like you have to push and make your way, and that's where I'm coming from, I guess. I speak to the people, to the laymen, and I start from the base, so there's a long way to go before I can speak to the higher authorities, for instance, and that is not my mission, because my mission is to start at home. And I speak to people. I speak to my parents at home. That's a mission, to make them understand my perspective. I speak to little children around me because I feel that's a mission, that they understand the world that we are living in and how they can make it a better place. And I feel that's my responsibility. Or like someone who's working in my house, like the helping staff, because they have no idea. They're still living 30 years back, and I feel like it's my mission to tell them that, hey, no, this is not how it works. We're living in this world, and you know, in Germany, this happens, and look at us. I mean, nobody is talking about, for instance, climate change, and because they don't even know. But we are suffering so deeply because, I mean, Pakistan, recently there was this crazy flooding, people lost their houses, their families, So, I mean, who will talk to them? Because they don't go to school, they don't go to college, they're not traveling, they're not meeting people, nobody's telling them, everybody just uses them. So I guess my mission is to just spread awareness and love and kindness and compassion. So I am committed, yes, I feel, but sometimes I feel lost also that what am I committing to? Because there's so much, and so much that you have to put up with personally, and then comes the collective part, and it's not always easy, but the idea is to keep going. And like I mentioned earlier, I work with art and culture, and it's also what I do is open to public. And my whenever when I was working before, I've never I always feel the need to do something for the people, because that's the only way that I feel that I'm doing something. Yeah, I'm fulfilling my responsibilities that I have enforced upon myself. No one tells me that you have to do this, but I feel that, and I think it's totally fine, because that's what keeps me sane. It keeps me satisfied, and it gives me a mission in a way. So when I work with art and culture, it's like, for example, if I'm doing theater, I really love it that it's open, and a lot of people, the masses, who don't have the access to this, they can come, and it's free, and just I feel like just talking to people also is great, because I'm very open, and when I meet people who there is not so much openness, I think, in the society that I come from. So I also suffer, because I feel like sometimes I overshare. It's even though it's about me, but then it's also difficult, because you have to be really conscious, or that's how we are made to feel that, oh, don't talk so much, and don't share so much. But I'm not afraid, because I always get such a good feedback, because then people also open up, and that's how you share your experiences, and it's a real cultural, personal exchange, and that's how you learn, I think. And it's important, because you don't want to listen to people who don't have anything to share, which helps other people, and that, I think, I feel that, because I'm often told that, and I can see that someone is shy and introvert, but they will open up to me, and for me that's an achievement, that you're breaking barriers in a way, right? You're opening up, and so yeah, with theater, with music, these are the projects that I work on, and also discourse. There's a lot of discourse, and I myself I don't consider myself an artist, but I'm the catalyst, basically, that I bring artists together to work, to make collaborations between Germany and Pakistan and other parts of the world, and writers. So yeah, I learn, and I try to open this portal for other people also, who are not even aware that there is this possibility to make this kind of learning. Anything on a human level, basically, is my mission. It's nothing. I'm not an intellectual, and I don't want to make art. Like I don't think that I'm very political. Of course I am, because these things bother me, but it's not my place to say. And what my place is, where it is as a human being, because I live my life, and I like to make the most out of it. Yes. It's the last question, last but not the least, and it's a very important one, because I only recently realized, that I realized recently a lot of things regarding feminism, and one of them was, which really hit me, that even before the idea of feminism and the concept of feminism existed, I was a feminist. And growing up in Pakistan, I was a young girl, and I was always big, taller and bigger than the average women. And I was always made to feel that, oh, you know, like my mother, she wouldn't take me shopping with her because she felt like everyone is staring at me, and she would feel, and I was always this very, like, I had really short hair, I looked like a boy. But I never wished to be a boy, actually. And only later in life I realized why I was like that, and I think that was the coping mechanism. Like, how do I go out in the city, I meet people, and also not feel unsafe. And because I had this appearance of a boy and a very strong, big girl, everybody was always scared of me from school. And of course it was because of my appearance, but when people would get to know me, I would always hear this, oh, we thought you had an attitude problem, oh, but we thought you were like this. And I realized it was never intentional, but that's the thing, that's how society kind of, you know, that's the conditioning or the subconscious, it was totally unconscious thing that, you know, I mean, I grew up with 3 sisters and only 1 brother, but still, you know, I was this very boyish girl who never wanted to be a boy. And only recently, you know, I grow my hair and I feel more feminine, and I'm not afraid to go out, even if I look like a woman. But it's also because I still, you know, when I go out on the streets in Karachi, which we don't have a walking culture, you don't see women on the streets for various reasons. But one of them is obviously because we don't feel safe, right? And so I still, because I'm, like I said, I'm a fighter, I still go out, even if it's a 5-minute walk, I make sure that I walk, and even if everyone is staring at me as if I'm walking naked on the streets, I don't care. And when I go bicycling on my cycle on the streets, I try to look as unfeminine as possible. Loose big tracks, a big t-shirt, braid my hair, put it under the shirt, so that, you know, when I'm riding, people are looking at me and they're confused or that's how I see it, that they're confused and they're thinking, is that a woman or a man? And by the time they realize it's a woman, I'm gone. I'm a feminist in the sense that, for sure, I have always stood with and always will stand with women, and it's difficult because it's a very patriarchal society, of course. But now that women are getting aware of their rights, and, you know, thanks to the whole. I mean, it's happening all over the world. I don't think there's any woman that I've come across from any part of the world who says, oh, but it's not like that for us, because everywhere, that's one place where you can all connect and you can relate, because there is this inequality everywhere, right, between men and women. What else was I going to say? There's so much, always, especially about feminism. But I mean, again, the duty on the human level. I mean, I was in a remote village in Pakistan, in the mountains, and I was visiting villages, meeting the locals, and it was always very interesting. I was in 4 different villages, and everywhere I went, I always had a group of young girls, also boys, but a group of young girls who were my entourage. They would accompany me, and always I would meet a girl and we would start talking. And I think, I mean, because I think I'm a people's person, so people feel comfortable. And then these young girls would be like, I would just ask them, hey, you want to walk with me? And, you know, maybe I'm just walking, because I wasn't doing anything. The idea was to just go and explore, because I hate living in this big city of 20 million people. And so, I mean, to get some solitude and time to myself, I have to travel 3,000 meters above sea level, coming from below sea level, but it's worth it. And it's so, it's because these girls, they've never gone out of this village, and then they meet someone like me who's coming from a big city and who's been in different parts of the world, and it's when I open up to them, it's like a portal opening up to them, and it's really beautiful when they share their experience and when they complain about something that, oh, but our life, oh, but I want to study, and then I'm always encouraging them. And I think it's very important to set an example, right? Because I'm not going to tell this girl that, oh, you should study and you should do this and you should do that. But when I tell her that I did this and that's how I got there, and there is this relatability also because, of course, I'm also not coming from a super privileged background. I am Pakistani after all, and I've also had my challenges to deal with. So it's like I show them the way in a way, and I feel great about that. So yes, I'm 100% a feminist.